Most people think their life will change because of one big decision, one moment of motivation, one breakthrough, one perfect plan. But in reality, most lives change in a much quieter way than that. Through small efforts so small they almost feel insignificant in the moment, but repeated over time, they slowly transform who you are. A lot of people today feel stuck, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack ambition, but because they're emotionally burnt out. Everything feels overwhelming, and when everything feels overwhelming, even the smallest task can feel impossible. So people wait. They wait until they feel motivated again. They wait until they feel ready, but motivation is unreliable. And discipline is something totally different. See, there's a sort of trap with motivation. It feels powerful when it appears, but it's temporary. It comes in waves. And if your progress depends on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. That's why many people start things, but very few can continue them. Because continuing something when you don't feel like it is a completely different skill. See, I'm certain of there being power in the small actions, and it's supported by a book I'm sure you've all heard of, which is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And the core idea is simple. Your life is mostly shaped by the habits you repeat every day, not the big moments, not the rare bursts of effort, but the small behaviours that quietly repeat themselves over months and years and decades. Tiny improvements might feel meaningless in the moment, but over time, they compound, and eventually they create results that seem almost impossible from the starting point. I often relate these small, consistent habits to something which I discovered a few years back, called Kaizen. It's a special philosophy in Japan, which, simply put, is the 1% philosophy. And it basically means continuous improvement. The idea is to aim to become just 1% better each day. And 1% might not sound impressive, but when you repeat that small improvement every day, results multiply. And over the course of a year, those tiny improvements can completely transform a person, not through intensity, but through consistency, the power of consistency. Now, you might be asking, how do I stay consistent? And there's no easy answer. But one thing that I like to preach, and I've spoken to friends about in the past, was one thing that I heard a few years back from a teacher. And I've always really liked it. And it's basically that discipline is a form of self-respect. This is because every time you keep a promise to yourself, even if it's small, you reinforce the belief that your actions matter, and over time, these promises start shaping your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries to be disciplined, and you start seeing yourself as someone who is disciplined. And this shift can change everything. It allows you to do things consistently and to show up each day, which makes so much difference. But don't worry if you're not someone who can't really call themselves a disciplined person right now, because it truly is a muscle. It isn't something you suddenly wake up with. It gets stronger through use and repetition. So small acts of discipline today make slightly bigger acts possible tomorrow. And over time, what once felt difficult becomes normal, not because the task changed, but because you did. See, personally, I can say that I changed in my own life. Not drastically, not reinventing my entire persona, beliefs and attitudes. With the simple habit which is slowly compounding over time to improve my life. You may ask, what is this habit? Tell me now. And it will come as a surprise to you that it's just opening my notebook every night and making sure to update my habit tracker. This is the small but rather impactful habit that I've implemented in the last month and a half, which has changed everything. I saw a video which encouraged this daily practice and I thought I'd give it a go. I started off by writing a handful of things which I wanted to do daily and wrote each day of the month in the margin. Then at night I would tick off each habit if I've done it in that day. Easy as that. Takes 2 minutes and you're done. At first it was difficult to keep up with and I was making an effort to do every habit but only managing a couple. Then there were entire days I forgot to even pick up my notebook at night and tick them off. But the important thing is, on those days I was unconsciously still completing the habits that I wanted to each day without even noticing. It's the simple practice of keeping note of your activities throughout the day which opens your eyes to what it is you are actually doing with your time. You create this contract with yourself, ensuring you complete those tasks. And after about a month of being inconsistent with the actual tracking, though I had been flexing the muscle enough so that I've started the month of March off with complete consistency, I'm already noticing the profound impact that this practice is bringing me, not just keeping me disciplined enough to put in the effort so that I can reach my goals, but the impact it's had on my mindset. The drive it's brought me is enough to stop me putting tasks off and to tackle them head on. For this, that video that I stumbled on a couple months ago has been incredibly valuable to me, and I recommend you watch it too. And when you start a habit tracker, don't let a few bad days slow you down and make you quit. Persist, and you'll thank me. However, in order to start integrating this practice into your life, you need to take these key steps, and it really is a simple framework. First, visualize the long-term version of yourself that you want to become. Not perfectly, just the general direction. Then secondly, you need to focus on the smallest possible action that moves you slightly toward that version of yourself. So say your general direction is to become a better chess player. What is that small action that will help you? And it should come to you easily. It's to start playing more games, start studying more. So they're your simple actions. Something so small, it's almost impossible to fail. You don't attach a goal to it, you just say, I'm going to play more games. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's like reading one page, taking a short walk, doing 5 minutes of work. The goal isn't intensity, the goal is just repetition. And then it's just doing it and executing. Every time you overcome that small moment of resistance, you reinforce something inside your brain. You strengthen the internal architecture that makes discipline easier next time. So if you made it this far, I want to say life doesn't usually change in dramatic ways. It changes quietly, through hundreds of small decisions that nobody else notices. Moments where you chose effort instead of comfort. Moments where you act, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. And over time, those moments build something incredibly powerful, a kind of mental armor, not rigid nor brittle, but flexible enough to carry you through whatever challenges life throws at you, all built from the smallest efforts, repeated every day. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. It is much appreciated and I hope you were able to learn something new. If you'd like to see more content like this, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, press the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos, and leave a like and comment what you thought of the video. I'm always replying to my subscribers. I'd like to thank you guys for my support on my first video. It was really motivating, and I will definitely use my own advice and stay disciplined to hopefully help you guys out with more videos like this. So I just want to leave you there. Have an enjoyable rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next.